It's early morning in Omaha, Nebraska, and Tom Rath stands in a conference room filled with restless professionals. Everyone's buzzing about what matters most at work and life: talent. But talent, it's not what you think. This isn't about fixing your flaws, it's about discovering what you're naturally wired to excel at. Imagine unlocking your real superpower, yet most people never even know where to look. What if the key to success wasn't how to improve weaknesses, but to double down on your unique strengths? Before you can master your strengths, you have to find them. But here's the catch. Most people look in the wrong place and end up stuck. Let's dive into how the StrengthsFinder flips that script. Gallup's StrengthsFinder started with decades of research involving millions of interviews and data. When Tom Rath picked up the baton from Marcus Buckingham, he refined what became a definitive assessment that identifies your top 5 talents out of 34 possible themes, from achiever to relator. It's not a personality test. It's a talent map that literally shows you where your genius lives. Think of talent like uncut diamonds littered in a mine. You don't find these gems by trying to make ordinary stones shine. Talent is innate, that core energy driving your thoughts and actions. StrengthsFinder treats talent as raw material, not final polish. You don't manufacture strength, you mine it, then build rituals and skills around these natural gifts. Most self-help advice screams at you to fix your flaws. But Rath's research shows it's mostly a waste of time, like trying to squeeze water from a rock. Focusing on weaknesses only drags your energy down, while investing in strengths ignites your passion and raises your performance. The kicker? Teams that align roles with individual talents outperform those that don't by huge margins, sometimes double in productivity. Okay, so you know your natural talents. Now what? Here's where most people stumble. Knowing is nothing without applying. Tom Rath shows us how to turn those raw talents into game-changing habits. Rath shares examples like Ken, a manager in Denver who used his activator talent to shake up a stagnant team. Instead of forcing everyone to improve cycles, he built routines around fast action and quick wins. The result? Projects that once dragged for months took weeks, and the whole team found a new rhythm. Small habitual changes tied directly to strengths unleashed massive momentum. Imagine your talents as puzzle pieces, brilliant on their own but sometimes rough at the edges. Rath advises pairing complementary talents to cover blind spots. For instance, if you're a big-picture ideator but weak on details, teaming up with someone high in discipline or focus creates a balanced powerhouse. This approach turns individual talents into a collective fortress. When you lean into what you naturally do well, work feels less like a grind and more like a flow state. Rath tells the story of Maria, an educator who shifted to roles that leveraged her empathy and developer themes. Her energy soared, student engagement rose, and she avoided burnout, a classic payoff where strength alignment drives passion and peak performance. It's tempting to think this is just a nicer way to look at yourself, but the science says strengths-based development rewires lives and careers. Let's unpack the deeper transformation. Tom Rath tells the story of Lisa, a software developer in Seattle who was constantly overlooked because she wasn't good at everything. After discovering her intellection and strategic talents through StrengthsFinder, she took on roles emphasizing her analytical thinking. Confidence soared and promotions followed fast. Sometimes the deciding factor wasn't skill improvement but sheer belief in her unique gift. Success isn't about perfection. Rath flips that myth by showing how focusing on strengths creates a new definition of success. It's not the absence of weakness, but maximizing your impact where you naturally shine. It's like playing a sport in a position tailor-made for your abilities rather than filling a gap awkwardly. Teams that build around individual strengths don't just perform better, they innovate faster. The Gallup data shows that strengths-aligned teams have 12.5% greater productivity, 21% greater profitability, and 59% less turnover. It's the difference between a group of individuals pushing alone and a finely tuned orchestra playing in harmony. Remember that early morning scene in Omaha? Those restless professionals left that room with the same insight you just heard. Your natural talents are treasures waiting to be claimed, not problems to solve. Here's your move: take the StrengthsFinder assessment, identify your top 5, and think of one small way to build a daily habit around them. That's where your edge lives, and it's waiting for you to show up. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.